Hey guys, what's up and welcome to Zero Reviews Tech. I have a $135 Galaxy S8 clone and it copies pretty much everything the S8 has to offer for better or for worse. Same shape, same aspect ratio, same software, which is a mistake in my opinion, and it has lower specs obviously. This phone seems aimed at a very specific end user, namely those who want as close a clone to the S8 as possible. But before you buy, let's see if it's a good phone. Help me out by pressing on the like button as well, it is much appreciated. So the first thing I noticed when I picked the phone up was how heavy it is. It feels like a brick and the culprit is the material of the body. It's a zinc titanium alloy, and the upside is that the frame does feel super duper solid. The one thing Bluboo wasn't able to replicate was the side bezels. They are pretty big here, which makes it look worse. That being said, it's still a pretty good looking phone for $135. Two gripes though. First, the back cover is super fingerprinty, and second, it also flexes pretty easily, which is not what I expected since the frame was so solid. The screen here is an 18:9 display, which is basically a regular 5-inch display that is a bit taller. Resolution here is 720p, which is okay. The display can show some okay color saturation and stuff generally looks fine. It's definitely not as good as the best LCD displays out there, but it's good enough. Max brightness is nice. I can see it pretty easily in bright sunlight. We have a mono speaker in the bottom, and the audio volume is not very loud. Some loud situations you cannot hear the speaker that well. Speaker quality is average, is a bit buzzy and distorted at max volume, and there is not a lot of bass either.
Back in action. Can't wash this spider down the drain.
Battery life here is a bit up in the air, mainly because the software doesn't let you see the screen on time. However, I was able to get through a day of usage without any problem, and I estimate around 5 hours of screen on time. Not Redmi levels of battery life, but good enough. So software is one of the weaker areas here, mainly because Bluboo made their own custom skin that looks very close to TouchWiz, and it is very slightly laggy compared to stock Android. It does come with 2 or 3 bloatware apps, and you can remove most of them. The other super annoying thing I noticed is you cannot switch launchers, so you are stuck with this TouchWiz launcher for better or for worse. Multitasking is okay with 3 gigs of RAM, gaming performance is great also because of the very low resolution. I could play pretty much anything. And finally, the fingerprint sensor is bad. It fails about 60% of the time and it is pretty slow, and that is probably in part because of the position of the fingerprint sensor as well, and it's pretty small. In terms of connectivity, I didn't get 4G most of the time. I got HSPA with fairly frequent drops to 3G, which is not good obviously. Wi-Fi reception here is below average also, which is sad, but at least GPS reception is okay. Moving on to the camera, it's actually surprisingly bad. Even in good lighting conditions, the photos don't have a lot of detail and mostly look uninspired and rather drab. Any sort of movement makes the pictures go blurry, and HDR is the same way, blurry photos. HDR doesn't really help either, blowing out contrast 90% of the time. Low light here is also bad. The front-facing camera is mostly similar, barely good enough for Facebook. Moving on to the video quality, it's also lacking in detail. Colors are pretty drab, which is sad, and maxes out at 1080p. So let's conclude this review. The Bluboo S8 has a huge weak spot, and that is the camera. In fact, it's bad enough that I don't recommend anybody buy this. Not because it has the worst camera in the world, far from it, but you can get cheaper phones with better cameras than this, like a Redmi 4A. There's a couple of other issues like Wi-Fi reception and cell reception, but these pale in comparison to the camera quality here. Let me know what you think down below. Subs would be appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.